Hey, everybody. Put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. TGIF, there's a lot going on. Oh my gosh, it's been a busy week. I haven't been here like I was supposed to, but no excuses. Shame on me, right? I blame Mr. Eve, always, right? He keeps me busy. And this in utero baby, too. Let me tell y'all something. I've had to have 6 of those glucose drinks. I don't know if some of you don't know what that is. But if you don't, it's the straight glucose drinks that test for basically so that you don't go into a diabetic shock and die. Right. Make sure that you're okay with the baby. And I had 6 of this. That was the last one. Thank God. And it's just because of just past medical history and all that stuff. But I'm good. We're good. I've never actually failed one of those, so I don't know why they continue to bombard me with these every pregnancy, but fortunately, this is the last pregnancy for me. Woo, Mr. Eve. You hear that? Snip it and zip it. Because mama's done. This is it. But I am 25 weeks along, guys, just letting y'all know, because I haven't updated anyone on anything, unless you're in my Discord. So I've only got a little bit left. 3 more months. Woohoo. So excited. Ready to not be pregnant anymore. It's 102 degrees today. I've had it. I've had it with everybody, even if you didn't do anything. Like, I'm mad at you. Yes, thank you, Jennifer. Just gestational diabetes is what I was trying to say. It's awful. I have had friends who have suffered from gestational diabetes. It's not a good time for anybody. And sometimes it could be fatal. So Anyway, glad to see you here, Jen. Thank you. You're always here for me, like when I need some kind of nursing assistance or help. Like you're the bomb. You're the bomb. Thank you, Julie. It's Eve. She says, "Congrats, Eve. So glad you're doing well. I appreciate it." Brooke has some chickens, 12 weeks old, and I'm at 25 weeks. Man, wouldn't it be awesome if you could just like grow a baby in 12 weeks and be done? Oh my lord. I'm sure there's a reason why that doesn't exist though, because we would overpopulate this entire planet, which I honestly feel like it's already overpopulated. Those drinks are gross. And it was either lemon lime or orange. Lemon lime gives me heartburn. Well, basically anything does, but especially lemon lime stuff. So I had to go with orange, and it was just wrong. It's just not right. There's got to be a better way. Yes, please hit that like button if you're coming in. We've got some updates today. I know that Summerwell's 2-year mark was yesterday. A lot was going on. And I decided to just not go live and kind of watch everything, go on and observe this time. Last year, I went to, as you know, the vigil in Tennessee, Hawkins County, and I did my own little searches and things like that, and research, if you will. And I figured that this, I really was more mad at the fact that we're here 2 years later with nothing. You know what I mean? Especially with Dawn and Candace being the reason, in my opinion, for that. So, and others. But I don't know. It was something that I just didn't want to do yesterday. And I wanted to do it a day later as kind of like, all right, all of that hoorah has calmed down with just it being 1 year. And let's get into the actual nitty gritty of what has gone, in my opinion, wrong in the Summerwells case, especially with the most recent events. Okay. Hi, Linda. Likewise. Hope your day's going well. Let me say hi to everybody. I know I missed some people, and y'all are going to get mad at me. Mr. Eve, especially. Hello, Mr. Eve. Hi, Lori. Brooke, of course, always welcome here. Brooklyn, my Gemini queen. Millennial, how are you? Grammy H, glad you're here, hon. All right, so all the lurkers in the back, all the roaches in the back, if you're watching, go ahead and hit that like button too. You know you want to, even though you don't. You should. And everyone that's here, please hit that like button. And appreciate you being here. So, what is up with my thumbnail, you might ask? What do you mean, evil? True crime with evil? Well, there's a reason for that. So, that is my nickname on Twitter from the heifers over there in I don't know land. They just keep trying to bait me and bait me and bait me. And I figured that thumbnail would bait them back. So if you're here, hi bitches. It's your girl True Crime with Evil, I guess. So that's all. That's the only reason why I did that, because I'm petty. I'm petty. P-E to the T-T-Y. Mr. Eve is evil. I mean, you said it. No, you're a sweet boy. Just kidding. That's all. There really was nothing more than that. But that's my nickname, so I figured I'd just wear it with pride, I guess. Just for a minute. So anyway, I haven't updated much on the Michael Vaughn case, but I did want to update everybody. I'm going to do my best to get a little video out, like a little summary, because not a lot of people follow this case like me and others do, and followers of mine in the chat. So Sarah Wandra had court yesterday for the 3 felonies she's facing for the dog bone Tanner Butler incident, April 13th, 2022. There was some very interesting wording that you're not probably going to be able to hear, but I will emphasize when it's being said. I do have the recording of her hearing. So we're going to go over that. And, there's something odd going on in the prosecuting attorney's office, in my opinion, because there's a specific person that joined, if you will, her case that I have never seen before. Nobody has. And we were like, who is this woman? And we're going to get into that. We're going to get into it. And sometimes when you do shady shit in your past as an attorney, it comes back to bite you. And I don't mean it I don't mean to expose, this information, but it is very interesting. I have to kind of expose the bad with the good for everyone to understand why she may be involved now in Sarah Wandra's case. So I don't know. We'll see. Maybe you can help me out. Help your girl Eve out. She's got pregnancy brain. She can't keep it up all the time. Sometimes a sister needs help. All right. Get her iCourt pulled up real fast. See if there's any updates. I like to show it to you as it should be, right? So you don't think I'm lying to you. So again, recap real fast. 3 felonies: assault, the deadly weapon, evidence destruction, and a controlled substance possession. Again, that controlled substance charge of Sarah Wandra was because she had Vicodin in the purse that she stuck the gun in that she was trying to hide from law enforcement when Tanner Butler called the popo on her for throwing a dog bone to his dome piece and them getting into a fight. And that's the facts, Jack. That's what happened, man. Got into an argument over dinner and things escalated from 0 to 90. The $250,000 bond stays. Her bond reduction was denied. I feel like this was inappropriate not to at least put it down a little bit more because, first of all, they dropped her failure to report a death charge. I'm not understanding this because I'm seeing murderers get $500,000. Or I'm seeing habitual offenders who literally walk out every other week. Maybe some layhaws out there in the Idaho Straits who get $3,500, $2,500. Maybe there's some treasy people out there that only get $1,000 bonds when they are habitual offenders, and it's some bullshit. So, excuse my language. Idaho just sometimes gets on my nerves. So, Jeep girl, you ain't lying. Cha-ching, boom. Don't make me come at you with no milk bone. Let me get you. All right, so looking at the most recent. Okay, so literally a year to the day, right? They subpoenaed Mr. Butler. Was not served over this incident because honestly he's the one that has to testify against the especially the assault with a deadly weapon charge, because when you look at the official report from Payette or Fruitland, it's not very clear on certain things. I had questions myself, like how was the gun an actual deadly weapon? Was there around in the chamber? Was there was it ready to fire? Because Idaho has very specific laws or case law describing what a deadly weapon is. So I think that they really need him, or it would really help their cause, right? If Tanner would come on down, the price is right. So that didn't work. So then 4/24, they send it out again. Nothing yet. Nothing at all. But yesterday she had her pretrial conference for the jury trial for September 18th, 2023. We're going to get into this new pretrial conference that's coming up on July 6th, 2023, that they had established yesterday. Let's get into that beautiful bean footage and see what you think about what was said regarding coming to a resolution, as I quote. Yeah. Coming to a resolution soon on these charges. I'm still perplexed as to what that means. So give me just a moment and let me get that footage up for you guys. 1 second.
So, did you used to be called Tam?
All right. So here is court. There is Sarah's mama, adoptive mama, and I'm assuming adoptive father. Brooke says, moment of silence while we wait. I know, I don't even have like elevator music, proper stuff, like the basics, right? What's wrong with me? So here is Sarah. I think I just like played her, or I kind of had her on the camera as I was waiting for her case to come up. So, I mean, she really didn't do anything insane, but she did have some technical difficulties. So let's play it.
Ms. Maloney is present, representing Mr. Boyce. Is Mr. Boyce present?
Yes,
Okay. With my client since that. To the court, Ms. Maloney.
Your Honor, this is the first opportunity I've had to speak with my client since
230512. We've got Ms. Colleen present for this date. Mr. Schiller is present, representing Ms. Wandra, and Ms. Wandra is present, hearing remotely from the Payette County Jail. And this is the time set for a pretrial conference. The court noticed that the state filed part 2 of the criminal information, so I'll need to read you on that first. Ms. Wandra, you have a right against self-incrimination. You're not required to make any statements today. Any statements you do make can be used against you in later proceedings. Do you understand that? Oh, you're gonna need to lean closer to that microphone and speak up.
She was having issues speaking into
No,
it.
Is someone at the jail
Poor thing.
over? It seems like it's on mute.
It was like, hey, sir, this ain't working. Help.
Your Honor, we would waive a formal.
I finally get her though.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, and did you have a chance to go over the criminal information part 2 with your client, Mr. Schiller?
I did, Your Honor, we would waive a formal reading.
Okay, so Ms. Wandra, part 2 of the criminal information alleges it's a persistent violator enhancement that you were previously convicted of attempt to commit a Class A felony robbery 1 in the state of Oregon, alleged to have occurred on or about March 6th of 2013.
So what they're doing is called a felony information sheet. So if you have more than 3 felonies as you're charged, like if you have previous felonies, you're eligible to get more time added, 5 years to life, depending on what you have, which I highly doubt she'd get life for this. But because she's got 3 felonies, there's a 3-strike rule. You can be charged with additional time just for being a self-proclaimed baddie, and not in a good way. So the more felonies you acquire, the more chances are you're going to spend even more time in jail or prison because you're acting baddie, you're doing baddie stuff, you get bad results. So that's what they're going over. They're going over previous felony charges to assess if the state's going to pursue adding more time. I believe there's an automatic 5-year sentence that the judge can alter if they please. So they can do 5 years felony probation. They can do a lot of things, but it's pretty much on the table for the most part because of this information sheet that they're going over about her previous felonies. So just know that.
And the state also alleges 3 counts of identity theft alleged to have occurred on or about March 6th of 2013. Both of those are Oregon cases. And in both matters, it's alleged that, let's see, count 1 alleges Sarah Ann Ramsey with an N. And count 2 alleges under the name of Sarah Ann Ramsey with an M. Is that correct, Ms. Clean, or was there a typo there?
When I went to
Ms. Wandra,
oh,
I was directing that to the prosecutor.
I apologize.
Said,
Okay, so this judge, I'm going to tell you something. I was so irritated because, first of all, no disrespect to the Stutchlick judge up here on the right here. You might not even be able to see it, but she sounds like she just rolled out of bed, didn't have her coffee, and she doesn't know how to wake up. So I can totally understand why Sarah was like, well, let me explain why it was my name was misspelled. But she didn't understand that the judge was talking to the prosecuting attorney here, standing prosecuting attorney, Erica Kylan. We'll get into her. Don't worry about that. But it's like, damn, y'all. Act like you want to work today. So I kind of get why she was like talking.
like I said, you have a right to remain silent. I'm not asking you to respond to the allegations. I'm just letting you know what the allegations are at this point.
Okay, I'm sorry, Your Honor.
Judge, I'm checking, just a minute.
So Brooklyn had a very good question because we had the same questions yesterday, but I don't think Brooklyn was able to discuss with the Discord folks. Why isn't her public defender explaining these things to her? Well, they had gone over it before about the 3-strike rule and getting additional times, and so they already had done that. But there's a thing called waive formal arraignment information or something, where basically to speed up everything, he didn't have to go over those in detail. He already did that. So he's making that known to the court here in a minute. You'll hear it.
And Judge, I want to make sure I understand your
Violator of law and on whether the violator.
Sorry, they just had to clear up the misspelling of her name business. It's so waste of time. Such a waste of time. You would think the prosecuting attorney would know.
Advise you of the penalties on the persistent violator sentencing enhancement. It's Idaho Code 1925-14. It states that any person convicted for the 3rd time of the commission of a felony, whether the previous convictions were had within the state of Idaho or were had outside of the state, shall be considered a persistent violator of law, and on such 3rd conviction shall be sentenced to a term in the custody of the State Board of Correction, which term shall be for not less than 5 years, and said term may extend to life.
So she just said, I know she's mumbling like she just rolled out of bed. No less than 5 years up to life. I have rarely seen a life sentence in this. Like, I don't think I've ever seen it in I court. So I don't know if this tactic was to scare the shit out of her to start talking about whatever they think she knows. Um, because obviously they brought these charges back a year later, right? So I think that you're about to hear that, in my opinion, you're about to hear it kind of fall apart regarding Michael Vaughn's case using these charges against her. But I'll let you decide. If you're watching this after the live, comment below after you hear what the defense attorney or the public defender says about a resolution. Let me know what your thoughts are.
Do you understand the potential penalty for this sentencing enhancement, Ms. Wandra?
No, I don't, but I hear what you're saying.
Okay, so what it means is that if you are convicted of a third felony, then the state may proceed on the part 2 of the information. And if you're found guilty of the previous 2 felonies, then when it comes time for your sentencing, you'll face a penalty of at least 5 years in prison and up to life in prison. Does that help you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you.
Judge, I went back and the spelling is accurate. That is reflective of what is in the actual judgment.
All right. And we have a jury trial coming up in September. And are there any pretrial matters we need to take up today, Mr. Schiller?
Okay, so public defender Brett Schiller. There's a pre-trial conference coming up that they're about to schedule here, but the jury trial is still set for September for those 3 felonies. But listen closely. I'm going to turn it up. Just listen. I'm going to reiterate it, and I want you to tell me what you think about what he says.
Judge, at this point, we are asking for a continued pretrial at a date fairly soon. We have been in discussions with Mr. Duke from the prosecutor's office, and after speaking with Sarah today, I think we're close to a resolution. Soon.
Okay, Mr. Schiller?
Judge, at this point, we are asking for a continued pretrial at a date fairly soon. We have been in discussions with Mr. Duke from the prosecutor's office, and after speaking with Sarah today, I think we're close to a resolution.
Close to a resolution. So again, after speaking with Sarah Wandra today and Mike Duke from the prosecuting attorney's office, who is not here today, by the way, someone stepping in named Erica Collin is here. You can't see him on the screen, so let me just exit out and see if I can get her so you can see her. You can't see her if I do that. But she's right here. She's up here at the top. She is a former Canyon County prosecuting attorney who specializes in SA abuse of children, divorce, family matters, things like that. But she also dealt with child neglect and homicide cases. Most recently in 2020 and 2021 is kind of where she got in trouble, if you will, in 2020 specifically, about charges that she placed on a person accused of and found guilty of later on of sexual abuse of a child. So we'll get into that in a minute. But what do you think about what they said? We need about 4 weeks, give or take, for another pre-trial conference. After speaking with Sarah Wandra today and Mike Dukes, or whatever his name is, from prosecuting attorney's office, we're coming to a resolution. Does that sound like a plea deal to you because of the severity of spending a long time in prison? What do you think? I want your opinion. I'd like to talk about it. Hi, Sassafras Calf. I hope you're having a fantastic day. Thank you. Yeah, so Brooke already thinks it's a plea deal. And I don't know, it's hard because, yes, I would understand why you would want to plea in such a severe thing like this, but she's also got, excuse me, she's also got the felony gun charge case that she's got to worry about. That also applies to her felony, additional years on top of if she's found guilty. Right? So a lot is hanging on her shoulders, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Right. Rick says, that's what they're saying. Julia T says they've got nada, in my opinion, on prior charges they dropped probably. Coercion, no snap, right? Are Ilda and Carson friends? It wouldn't surprise me. I'm not going to say they are, but it wouldn't surprise me. Not a bit. Maybe she should go ask the Reinerson crew. Anywho, let's go ahead and continue.
So I think it'd be helpful, keep that jury trial date, but have a continued pretrial, hopefully within the next 4 weeks.
Let's do
So they schedule it for July 6th.
July 6th at 2:30 p.m. for a continued pretrial conference. We will see you at that time, okay, Ms. Wandra?
Thank
And that's
you, Your
it.
Honor.
All right, that'll be all for your matter today.
That's it on that. Nothing else as far as I know regarding Michael Vaughn's case. No charges have been brought forth. No update from Fruitland PD. I don't know what to say on that. And as unfortunate as it is, but I do want to say something that I find very interesting that happened recently. There was in my last live, in my last live, there was explanations about the Eric Ortega and the Megan Amaya double homicide in New Plymouth, Idaho, which is in the same county. It's about 15-20-minute top drive from Fruitland. And that's if you're slow poking it. There are connections to everybody, first of all, in Payette County. My God. If you saw the Discord connections, you'd freak out. Everybody's connected to everybody. But what's very interesting that I noticed and that other people noticed is that the victims, Eric and Megan, come to find out very recently, there was I don't want to say too much because I don't want to start anything over there in Idaho land, but there was a relationship between Eric and Megan. I don't know how far back they go, but from my understanding, there was supposed to be just friends. Maybe there was something more to it, and that's why this has happened. I doubt. I mean, there might be a little bitty part in it. But at the end of the day, there were federal drug trafficking charges against this man back in 2014. And I definitely feel like, as others do, that there just may be some connection. I don't know whether it be drugs, whether it be the guns, whatever. There just might be a connection to Michael Vaughn's case, in my opinion, due to first of all, the people that surround the Vaughn family and who they surround themselves with. Hi, Mr. Eve. You are oily. Your hands are like black. You've been touching planes inappropriately all day, huh? It is what it is, right?
She leaked a little.
Oh my God. Okay. Get out. Sorry, guys. Mr. Eve came home. Okay.
I'm gonna go grab a little Eve.
Okay. Bye. Tell little Eve I love him. I'll talk to him in a minute.
Hi, everyone.
Mr. Eve says hi. So, getting back to Eric and Megan, it is what it is, right? There's some gang activity, there's some drug activity, there's some drug trafficking charges, felonies left and right. He went to prison, got out a little earlier than I assume. IDOC, Department of Corrections, is stating that Eric got out July 21st, 6 days before Michael disappeared. I'm not saying he had anything to do with that at all. I'm just saying that the timing of things that have gone down from the research that I do not feel comfortable putting out there for the safety of other people and Michael Vaughn's case. But the timelines that I'm noticing and the people around both families, all three families, is really concerning. And it would not surprise me if we're not going to hear something about that soon. Oh, I wonder who this is. Foxglove says, who are these people you are talking about? So in my previous live, we went over it. Eric Ortega, Megan Amaya, double homicide, May 16th, 2022. In the wee hours of the morning, they were shot to death. It went pretty cold for a while until very recently when Payette County and Idaho State Police said, hey, there was a delay because there was a backlog in evidence, DNA evidence. This was back in, December of 2022? So I think that we all assumed that was happening in the Michael Vaughn case, right? Because we haven't heard anything about any evidence or any updates. First we heard, what was it? We have enough to charge Stacey Wandra right this minute. That's what JD have told a reporter. I think Megan Romero. And we were like, oh, snap. Okay. Like, here we go. There's something coming. Like, there is something legitimate to this. And then nothing. They dropped the failure to report a death charge on Sarah. So we're like, whoa. What? If you had enough to charge him, why don't you charge him? And I guess we all could assume that it was the evidence, waiting for the evidence to come back. There have been rumors and speculation about some evidence that was found. The one that I will say, I'm not going to say the other one, but the one speculation going around is some kind of piece of cloth, like a dried up rag. I mean, that could be in anybody's backyard, to be honest with you. That could be in my backyard, like, for real. Mr. Eve slings, those hot dogs and hamburgers, and sometimes you forget that your dirty ass dish towel that you forgot, it gets in the grass. It happens. They had 2 grills back there in the Wandra backyard. So it's really stupid to speculate on that, right? But maybe there is something, LaWanda Westbrook, the PR rep for the family, keeps saying things like, there's evidence that Michael was in that house. Okay. Who told you that? And how do you know, first of all? And what is it? When are your charges coming? And why are you so hard pressed on Brandon Shirtless Balls to try to get him to say something that I guess you're waiting for? Like, who are you? Didn't they say that they talked to him? Law enforcement talked to him and Adrian. So why are we doing this? So that's kind of where we're at. It's so frustrating. So of course you're going to go, okay, they probably don't have shit. And if they do have shit, there's some procedural issues that are preventing the prosecuting attorneys to do whatever they got to do. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to say, what if it's something else? What else is going on in the Payette County world, even the Mulhern County, Ontario, Oregon world? What's going on? Well, I can tell you what's going on. Eric Ortega and Megan and Maya, their case has a main suspect identified. They have someone in their targets. They're waiting on DNA evidence to come back from December, which was backlogged. Now, if that was backlogged, maybe that's why it took so long for Michael's DNA. They had to go to a private lab because it was so backlogged. And that DNA that was finally tested 6 months later in the Megan and Eric shooting, who knows how long it would have taken, depending on what it was, in Michael's case with no body. You have to think about that. There's two bodies that they found with Megan and Eric, rest their souls. We don't have that with Michael. It's going to be even longer, in my opinion, right? There's a lot more to it. So how long is it going to take? Is there an update, Fruitland? Is there a connection in any way? Could you clear that up for your community who pays taxes, for you to do that for them? Is there a murderer on the streets? Is there multiple murderers out on the streets? What do they do? If I was a community member of that county, I'd probably end up pushing daisies. Is that what he said? Yeah. I think that was the makeshift grave site. I'd probably be doing that because my mouth can't stop running when I see the bullshit going on in that county. It's awful. Good old boy mentality. Julia says, oh, okay, I thought it was somewhere else. Why would LE be providing crucial info to Wandra? They wouldn't. They'd be a fool. Juanita would be a fool. Weren't they going to provide an update soon on that case? Yeah, that's what they said. They said that they were going to provide information on the main suspect, and the identity, of the main suspect should be brought forth soon. Well, J.D. Huff also said we're going to send our entire case file to the prosecuting attorney's office, and that was in January. It's June. So what is going on? Michael Vaughn's birthday is coming up in 1 week, in a day, in 8 days. And then, like Summer Wells, it'll be the 2-year mark. So this is a very crucial time that I have been noticing in missing children's cases, where the 2 to 3 year mark is the most crucial time. It seems like that's when the charges are coming and the grand jury is met, or something like that, in suspicious circumstances where a child goes missing, right? Corey Bigsby, Cody Bigsby's dad, finally got charged with the murder of his son. And do you want to know what day that was? This is really heartbreaking. The day is June 18th, 2021. Can you believe that? Can you believe that? It's too eerie for me, if I'm honest. 3 days after she goes missing. It's almost like June 2021 and July 2021. There was a dark cloud over any child that so happened to be in a bad situation with their family members, or vice versa. God forbid you had a mentally ill or drug addicted parent. You were high risk, right? Right after COVID. It's awful. So I have the actual court document for Cody Bigsby. Let me pull it up for you, where it says that he was charged with homicide. Here we go. I think y'all can see anything. There we go. All right. In the circuit court for the city of Hampton, the grand jury charges that on or about June 18th, 2021, in the said city, Corey Bigsby Sr. unlawfully and feloniously did kill and murder Cody Bigsby. So let's look and see what Virginia 18.2 through 32 code is in a minute. But it was a true bill dated June 5th, 2023. And I'm really sorry to hear that this is what it's come to. It's my least favorite topic to discuss, if you could believe it, when a parent murders their child. But here we go. Did unlawfully and feloniously transport, secret, conceal, or alter a dead body as defined in this law with malicious intent and to prevent detection of an unlawful act or to prevent the detection of the death or the manner of cause of death. So basically, cover up. What I specialize in on my channel, right? And I called this from the jump. We all knew. And so did Hampton Police. That chief of police, I'm giving you an applause because you did not yield to the bullshit out there. He was your main suspect, and you said, and he gonna be in jail until we find out where this boy is, until we can charge him. And that's exactly what they did. Nobody got into a hoorah except for the family of Corey Bigsby, who adamantly denies, by the way, at this moment that he did anything wrong to Cody, because allegedly they have pictures to prove that he was alive that day, yet they cannot provide these said pictures. So, just get off of that. So, justice for Cody Bigsby. I have been following that case, even though I don't always comment on it. Deep down, I kind of always knew that it was just going to take some time, right, to get the evidence. And basically what he did was told on himself while he was in jail. Because that's what you're supposed to do. If you're neglectful to your children and they end up missing on your watch, you're supposed to sit your ass in jail until they figure out what happened. Or at least sit in jail for your charge and do your time. That's how you get the time. That's how you get the truth. Whatever you're missing over there with these missing children's cases, Summer Wells. Speaking of Summer Wells. Hey, Chris. Speaking of Summer Wells. I am very upset at a few things, but the one thing that I love the coverage. I love what people are doing out there, of course. Like, shout out to all of the channels, even, Circle Jerk, all of the channels who have come through for Summer Wells and talked about her and things like that. How can you hate on that? But this is what I really don't understand, and I think everybody can agree. I'm just going to be blunt here. What the hell is this? What is this? That is a 10, 11, 12-year-old girl, in my opinion. 9 to 12 will just range it. That is not a 7-year-old girl to me. Can anybody put a 1 in the chat if you agree and 2 if you don't? You either agree or you don't. So 1 if you agree and 2 if you disagree, because I simply cannot understand that. Matter of fact, the one that I saw or was sent by Circle Jerks, I can't remember who did it. Chris in the chat might be able to help me on that. That's more believable and understandable. And it's not forensic. Yes, Chris, that looks like a 12-year-old. I just don't get it. I really don't understand. And I'm not trying to be too critical, but come on, y'all. Come on. Lori says, Ilda, she's friends with Carson. I don't know. I do know that Ilda has been very close to Tyler Vaughn. You might want to ask her about that. Going on 7+ years, bare minimum. I think they used to go get something out of the damn river together. Yeah, me either. Art for Life did it. It's amazing. I think I actually have it in my email somewhere, or I think I posted it somewhere. I'm almost positive. But yeah, it was way better. Holy moly. So News Nation did a live on her case and kind of going over the Chris McDonough information. He came on, and then Don Wells. Y'all, I have not even watched Don Wells' interview. And apparently everybody's going ape shit on something specific that he said. And I need to go watch that and then make a video on it because it's almost an hour, so I got to go. But yeah. If anybody put a 2 in the chat, I would respect your opinion, but disagree with you. I would respectfully disagree. Yeah, she looks 12. And the way that she, from what I understand, was delayed in a sense of nutrition, obviously. She's not going to look like this. She's not. This is a 12-year-old. I remember having those 12-year-old teeth right there at 12. Now 7. I don't know. I don't know what they're thinking. Maybe this is, you know what I thought? I thought that maybe the reason why they did this is to be like, this is what she could have been. For those out there who know what happened, that's what she would have looked like. But now we won't know. And I think maybe it was a tactic instead of an actual way to notice her. And I could be wrong. I'm not going to speak on behalf of the DBI, or NCMEC, but that's just how I feel. Yeah. If I can find it, I'll put it on the I'll put it on my community page, the Art for Life version, and compare it to this one. Because it's just way more spot on to me. Yeah. There was one other thing that I wanted to talk about. With Michael Vaughn's case. I think that we really need to be looking at the behaviors of the people around here in the next few weeks. Watch the behaviors. You're going to see some squirming. You're going to see some poking and prodding and all that stuff from the roaches, the Twitter roaches. You're going to see some things. I've already noticed it. They've been trying to bait me so hard, and other people so hard, like Harsh and me and others, to react to something that there's nothing to react to. It's almost like they miss me. Do you miss me? I know, I'm pretty cool sometimes. And my comebacks do clap hard. So, I don't know what you're wanting over there, but hang tight. I'm sure you'll find something to complain about. Especially after this live. But I really hope that the Eric Ortega and the Megan and Maya situation, their homicides, they get justice too. And everybody that was involved in their demise is held accountable to the fullest extent of the law. And if it does, in fact, have something to do with Michael, I believe that this is a bigger problem than we could have ever imagined over there in little Payette County, Idaho. When you watch the videos of Michael and the community, it looks very sweet. And I'm sure it is to an extent, right? Of course. The intent is there. But when you go in and dive into the reality of what goes on in that county, you'd be very shocked and surprised at what you find. You'd actually be more than likely targeted if you ever said anything about it. I have spoken to community members who are not in the drug and or gang mentality that just shut up and oblige whatever the people who actually run that county want. And maybe, just maybe, that's kind of the problem in these missing children's cases, in especially small towns. Power struggle. There's a red tape, but it's almost invisible because of the power players that are involved and what they do behind the scenes. So look out for some more information coming. I'm being very methodical in how I want to present it. And I know that everybody is tired of my aloofness and never knowing when I'm going to come back on. But please understand that I am, first of all, pregnant and tired. And I am trying to get, ready for this big change coming up. But I promise you, you do not want to miss the updates that are coming. We need justice for Michael Vaughn and Summer Wells. Finally got justice for Cody Bigsby. By the way, I called it, didn't I? Didn't I say Cody was first, Oakley was next, and then it was going to be Summer and Michael right after each other? I have a feeling that's going to happen. I really do. All right, guys. As I say, drink your water, hug yourself, your babies, your fur babies. Let's get justice for these babies that are missing. Don't fight each other out in the YouTube street. Spend your energy wisely, because you can't get it back the same way that you spent it. All right, guys. Love ya. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.
If I should wake, it's